not all people who are securely attached show a very strong reflective capacity. But in general, most do. That what comes with security attachment is one's capacity to reflect on your own life, to have a perspective of yourself across time, and to see that different self at different stages of time.
So in this series, we're examining the attachment themes strewn throughout the FX Hulu show, The Bear. We will be discussing in detail each episode as the story unfolds, so that you can watch or rewatch before you listen and then follow along with our discussion. We have seen all the episodes, but we won't discuss any content beyond the episodes we're discussing. So if you haven't seen the show, press pause now, go watch, and hop back on to the podcast.
Well, hello, Michael Ashenfelter.
Hello, Michael Leach. Dr. Michael Leach.
Oh, goodness. You didn't have to do that. Well,
hello.
It's another lovely day to be recording with you.
Always. And with you.
So liturgical.
Uh-huh.
So what are we doing today?
Today, the guess is as good as mine. No, today we are talking about season 2, episode 5 of The Bear, entitled Pop. We don't know why.
No,
Again.
not really.
Dun, dun, dun.
We do have some theories.
You do. I don't know if I really liked any of them, though.
Oh, yes. Including the one that I summarized from my reading. Yeah. So there it is.
Yeah. Well, they don't. Do you want to share your theories, or?
Well, it's not
wanna
exactly
waste our
my
time.
theory alone. It's
Okay.
informed by the internet. But it happened as we were talking about it, which was, isn't there a scene where Carmi makes pop, which in the Midwest would be soda or Coke?
Coke. Mm-hmm. What did you call it growing up?
Coke.
Yeah.
Yep.
A Dr. Pepper was a Coke.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But marrying a Michigander, I heard lots of pop, including in a Michigan accent.
You want to try it?
Oh, pap.
Pap.
Yeah,
Okay.
pap. Sax, ma, mom. So annoying.
I know.
But very endearing.
It's so hard to be right
Sure.
all the time.
So the theory was that maybe episode 5 is called Pop because it's a precursor, a foreshadowing to a kind of breakthrough episode that episode 6 is going to be. It's very different than the rest of the episodes. No spoiler alerts, but it is an episode that is not linear. It's not furthering the storyline as all of season 1 did and all of season 2 thus far is. It's a flashback.
And maybe I'm just a little excited to get to that episode.
Not just a little and not maybe. Yes. You can be direct here, Michael. It's a safe space. You can just say it.
It's true. This is a good episode. It's a sweet episode.
Oh, I think it's precious.
But I'm really into the drama of the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And if you've never watched The Bear and you're following along watching it, the next episode, is the one that got quite a buzz.
Yeah. So, but we're going to focus on this one.
We are, because
All
it's
right.
good enough.
Good enough. All right. Well, and today our drink, honestly, because I'm just being a little lazy.
That's not really true.
No?
No, you're not being lazy.
Okay. Help me.
You are appropriately doing what you need to do and still attuning to this podcast, our friendship, and serving a great libation.
Okay.
You and I have loved wine.
We have.
It's
true.
my first love, frankly.
Actually, this one, it's your first love
Wine is, yeah.
of the alcohols?
Correct.
Okay. I was a little nervous. Okay.
Yes,
To clarify.
that's right.
But you actually introduced me to this wine for your wife's birthday.
Oh, fun.
And it was a delightful one.
Yeah, it's a nice house wine.
Mm-hmm. What
Steady.
does house wine mean to you?
Oh, it is something that you might buy by the case, that you might always have open, and aren't necessarily drinking for a special occasion. It's a very solid,
affordable but good tasting.
Yep.
Likeable, drinkable.
And California based because
not Italian.
I actually don't really care a whole lot for the Italian wines. I had to train my palate going and prepare it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very different.
That is very different.
Yeah.
But this one is really, it's smooth, has a little bit of a jammy taste. But this one is titled Juggernaut. Do you know what a juggernaut is? I always known it to be like a superhero, but it has a ferocious lion on the front.
Yeah. I don't know that this one is. Oh, the wine is called Juggernaut. Yeah, that's the vintage. Yeah. And it's a Cabernet. Did you say that?
No.
Okay. I think Juggernaut is something that is commanding, something that stands out, something that demands your attention.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Do you want to look it up?
Not right now.
Okay, we'll do
It
that
can be
later.
in the back notes.
All right.
When you fact check.
Fact checked.
But so let's move on to the beer.
Yeah.
And all the attachment that goes with it. One thing we're going to do a little different this episode, we're talking about characters and their arc throughout everything before now and today. And there was two in particular that we really see leaning into almost that earned security arena. Things are changing. They're developing. They're practicing. They're taking risk. A lot of vulnerability in this episode, which is really nice to see.
And appropriate risk taking.
Actually speak about that a little bit. That's come up actually a couple times for me this week with in some of the sessions and even talking to friends of vulnerability isn't always just itself a great thing. There can be inappropriate vulnerability. You kind of hinted at it, like the appropriateness of it. Do you have any
Yeah, well, absolutely.
thoughts on that?
Yeah, lots of thoughts. I would say vulnerability or risk in and of themselves are either neutral or holy, but they make no sense without a context. And so the context can shape how the vulnerability is inappropriate because it's too much for the context, for the relationship. Or the risk is the sort of risk that was not worth it. Not because if you take a risk and something fails, therefore it's not worth it, but rather the gain from the failure of the risk wasn't worth it, because failure is a part of life. It's part of why we take risks. But you can take a risk in asking for help from someone who's not, I often use the language worthy, because they're unavailable, because they're incapable, they're uninterested in meeting that need. So that was a risk that wasn't worth taking. It's a misattuned kind of risk. And what I think I see in this episode is these two characters in particular, Tina and Carmi, repeatedly taking risks with the right people at the right time. And even if it's not brilliant and fantastic, it's good enough. And it serves, I think, the purpose of bolstering and supporting and repairing their attachment towards security.
Yeah. I have nothing to say there.
Well, so I think part of what you're getting at, though, is like as therapists, there is a degree to which there can't be too much vulnerability. We sort of are welcoming an almost boundaryless vulnerability or disclosure, where we can then contain and tolerate and hold.
Right. But the fact that we can contain, tolerate, hold makes it a little more appropriate.
That's right. That's right.
Where that relentless, unboundaried vulnerability with a random person.
Sure. Or a child.
Oh, yeah.
Or someone who's in a compromised state because they're grieving or they're inebriated or, or where they may exploit your vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but so Tina and Carmi both seem to be doing it really well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So let's talk about Tina.
Yeah.
The opening scene is actually, it's like, wow, look at Tina's growth. Like in the middle of chaos, I say chaos, in the middle of Sidney working through her stuff.
Yep, which is a little incoherent because it's a little manic and a little disorganized.
Yeah. Tina is level-headed. She's able to say what she means. She didn't seem to be holding back. Did you pick up on that?
Well, I thought it was measured.
Yeah.
She wasn't belittling. She wasn't dehumanizing. She wasn't degrading or...
She was like, it's a little much.
Yeah, that's right. And she's trying to play. She's trying to tease, trying to help this intense Sidney lighten up a little. And I think it's because it's also like 1:30 in the morning or something like that. Like,
right. She's like, I'd be okay if we shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to go off another tangent. I was just going to talk a little bit about Sidney and her withdrawnness there. Even though she's withdrawn, that focus can come alive. That can be, even though it's focused, it can be incoherent.
Yep. Or misattuned or not collaborative. Yep.
And just help. What I noticed about her in that scene is that she just has a hard time seeing clearly.
Yeah.
She's working so hard to get it right.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, she gets overwhelmed, but she can't see that she's overwhelmed.
And see how she's participating in her own overwhelming state. Yeah. Whereas Tina seems
I can't relate to that at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Certainly not today. God bless. Yes. I think Tina is seeing very clearly. And seeing clearly without being destructive. Whereas earlier versions of Tina, she may see something clearly, but then acts in these destructive kind of ways. But she's, I think, moving toward being able to be a capacity for collaboration, measuredness, temperedness, staying emotionally regulated.
Well, she does it again when she's reaching out to Ibra.
Again.
Which is lovely because in the past episodes, you see her get close to people by sabotaging things, by being inappropriately kind of funny or digging at them. But this one, she's really endearing, really transparent, and just calmly saying, "Hey, I miss you. It's weird that I haven't spoken to you in so long. Like we've been doing this thing together. We've been in it."
Yeah.
And she says it with such an evenness, not a guilt trip.
Correct. It's not dramatic or histrionic.
Yeah. So she really is moving. She's shifting.
I think so.
And she's...
In the way I saw Tina in that moment, I could be projecting this on and into her, but I saw her both reaching out for Ibra to try and connect to Ibra for her own sake, for her own emotional, relational attachment needs, but also simultaneously reaching out to Ibra for Ibra, knowing that something's going on for him that she there's an implied understanding of that. Yeah.
which I think is a great representation of security of attachment. It doesn't mean that you don't have needs.
You never outlive or outgrow needs.
Right. And
That's
so she was living within like, I need my friend. I need my partner.
Yes.
I need someone to grow with. That's what I'm desiring. That's what I'm wanting. And, I see my partner is really struggling.
Yeah.
I know they're having a
Simultaneously
hard time.
recognizing his needs.
Yeah.
The
And she can
mutuality.
hold both.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's moving around in security.
Yeah, that's right. That's a quality of security of attachment that is a hallmark and allows and facilitates other people's security of attachment. And yeah, it's a beautiful little moment there.
Yeah. She's growing. Our Tina. It's my Tina. And then there's another scene where it's interesting to see her be introduced, accepted, invited by the other chefs within the cooking school that she's in. How would you describe? What did you think about it? Because I didn't know how to analyze. Not that we have to analyze everything, but I didn't know how to analyze her timidness when they're inviting her. Like she doesn't really say like, "Yeah, hey, I'm excited to go." It's just this kind of like, this smile of okay, maybe. Who knows? What did you make of the invite and how she interacted there?
Yeah, well, I think the way I thought about it was Tina is opening up to community and is teetering on a growing capacity to recognize security when it shows up. The insidious nature of insecurity of attachment is that it causes you to be unable to perceive, to understand, to interpret security when it's showing up.
You can't recognize it.
You can't recognize it. And in fact, what often happens is that you misunderstand it as being a threat.
Right.
And so I see her, that timidness is her processing, trying to figure out a teetering using the insecurity of attachment lens or security of attachment lens, and is teetering on which one do I trust? Which operating system within her do I trust? Is this a community? Is this the bear or the beef all over again? Or is this a more secure community? And I think as the episode continues, it turns out it's much more of a secure, functioning community than the
supportive,
beef
collaborative.
ever was. Yeah, welcoming, affirming.
Not chaotic.
Nobody appears to be getting obliterated in terms of that drunk at the bar. There's no bar fight. There aren't people backstabbing or yelling at each other or it's a good bar, it's a good vibe, it's a good community, and she's opening herself to it. And I think her timidness is about her struggling with being able to recognize the goodness that is there.
That I can actually partake in this.
And that in fact I am welcome. It belongs
wanted.
to me. I belong to it.
And then she does something that I have a hard time doing.
Oh, I have never.
You've never done karaoke?
I don't think I have.
Oh,
I can ask my wife to verify that. I have a vague memory of sort of maybe doing it
but you're a
once.
singer. People say that to me all the time. Too.
Yeah, but I'm not really a solo singer.
Okay.
And also, I was never comfortable whenever I did sing into the singular mic.
Yeah, see, I can perform in big groups of people, like large numbers. I can sing solo, I can sing in groups, but call it karaoke at a bar, I shut down. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
It's something extra vulnerable for me there.
Sure.
But she took the risk.
Yeah, and it seems like it's very vulnerable to her.
Yes.
Both singing in public and the song that she sang.
Right. Like because it's not a banger. It's not
Not to Gen X, Y, or Z.
But yeah, it's not one that everyone at the bar knows. I don't think anyone at the bar knew.
No, that's right. Surprising that they had it in the Rolodex of
Thank you.
karaoke songs.
Yeah. But to see her relax into it, be honest, authentic. And we were talking, it seems as if she was singing to all the people in her life. Just the words of that song.
Yeah.
Were very much of, I will be there.
Yeah.
I will support. Yeah. Any other thoughts about how others interacted with her there, or how she may have interpreted what was going on?
It's that example of it's an appropriate risk.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't going to win any Tony Awards or Academy Awards or Oscars, or what do you get for singing?
Oh my gosh.
Academy Award. No,
Is that an
that's
Academy?
movies. Oscar, same thing. Oh my God, that's so funny.
An EGOT. What is an EGOT? An Emmy? A Grammy. A Grammy is the music.
Oh, a Grammy. There it is.
There we go.
So she's not going to get, I think she can actually sing. She's an off-Broadway actress in real life. But
IRL.
she's in the character. She's not going to win awards, but she's clearly singing from a heart. And so the audience responds to that. And responds, I think, in part to this old grandmother in their bar, in their space, and she's just belonging.
Yeah.
And
welcomed.
Yes, like security begets security. And
it's this isn't really to do with the show. It's such a great risk to try on. I would encourage anyone to go do karaoke.
For many reasons.
It can be so welcoming. For someone who's uptight like me and a perfectionist, it takes a lot of energy to get there. But if I don't take myself so seriously and I attempt to have fun with it, I've never experienced just people erupting and having fun, congratulating and just having fun with it. And it kind of saddens me to think of the times I haven't done it. And I missed out on that community, missed out on that
fun.
Yeah.
Play.
Just the play of it all. Yes. So I would encourage anyone to push through and sing your heart out.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it.
I can't remember anything else for Tina's edit. It's on our list.
For Tina, that is. Yeah. You want to move on to Carmi?
Speaking of playing.
You don't want to do any more karaoke? I think right now, like, what would your karaoke song be? You've dreamed about this, right?
No.
You'll never fantasize about what your karaoke song would be? Oh.
Nope.
I do maybe like once a week. I hear a song on the radio. I'm like, oh, this is it. And then I forget. And then karaoke time comes and I'm like, I don't know what to sing.
I think I might do George Michael Careless Whispers. There it is. I pulled it out of my unconscious.
So quickly and so specifically.
Oh, isn't that the point? As opposed to a genre.
Okay. Careless Whisper, huh?
I don't know. I was just pulling it out somewhere.
All right.
I'm not. That was not a commitment.
That's gonna happen. Yeah.
Listen,
no. It's gonna happen.
Commitment.
It's gonna happen now. Yeah.
So Carmi, speaking of playing.
Okay. Bringing it back.
Carmi is opening up to playing.
Yes. Outside of the kitchen.
Correct. And in life in general.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of his monologue at an AA meeting, right? Like, I don't know how to play and I'm trying to play. And so here we're starting to get a fruit of that, where he opens up to the invitation to Claire to go to a party of which he's never been to a house party before, and super awkward, super self-conscious, super shy. But he plays, and he's playing with Claire all along the way in this episode. A playful banter, some playful sarcasm. And I think Claire does a great job of playing back with him. We may have some disagreements about some of her comments and the timing of it. I thought it worked. In the show, it seems to work.
I think it's just the inner withdrawer and inner. I don't have an inner. I am a whole withdrawer. Inner, outer, all.
Yeah.
and avoid. So when her timing comes up and she just like slides in that, why did you give me the wrong number
Yeah.
bit, I'm like, come on, like let's be done with this. Let's
But she never got
like,
a real
just
answer.
enjoy the moment we're in right now.
That's such an avoider. Yeah.
Yep,
Uh-huh. And it drew him out
it did.
and took that right risk. And I think Claire is taking a good risk.
So let's talk about how he took that risk. What did he actually do?
Well, he risked being transparent with his inner world. His internal world is, I like you so much.
Yeah.
And in fewer words, he is saying that I respond to that strong emotion by sabotaging and avoiding. And what he's avoiding is his own desires, his own feelings, and the impulse that comes with that, which is to reach out and to spend time and to do all the romantic things.
Yeah.
A classic avoidant, dismissive. What he's avoiding is dismissing is his own desires, his own internal world, his own needs. And so here he's got an opportunity to do that different.
Yeah.
And he responds differently.
It's really funny that it annoys me so much because in the therapy room, this is one of my most exciting moments. I get so proud and happy. And yeah, like start high-fiving. It's like, oh, look, you just did it. You did it. And in fact, like in a session recently, one of my clients, we got to the point of, and that's what we're searching for is, oh, I do this thing, but this is actually what's going on underneath. And the thing this client was doing was saying, you haven't been to the gym and I'm paying for it. And that's ridiculous. Like, I'm tired of paying for it if you're not going to go. Now, mind you, it's been like 4 or 5 days since I hadn't been. They would have divorced me a long time ago. But what we finally got to is, oh, I really miss spending time with you. And I really love working out with you.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to say that.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I attacked you and blamed you and tried to make you feel bad, so I could get my need met of spending time and being with you. And so I think that's exactly what happened here when he reveals, I like you so much. That's why I didn't give you the right number.
Yes.
I'm scared. So yeah. Okay, now I like it. Now it's fine. But when I watched it, I was like, Claire, be better.
Stop ruining the movie. Move on.
It was already a sweet moment between them.
No.
But you're right. They did go deeper.
And more connecting. And particularly drew out the withdrawer.
Yes.
Drew out the dismisser, avoider.
So in my nerdy, emotionally focused therapy world, it's called withdrawer re-engagement. No one in the world needs to know that, but there you go. I know things. But that leads Carmi to continue playing. Like, he risked that vulnerability, and she caught him and was able to respond and engage with him right there in that moment. Which, again, we talked about in the last episode, is that vulnerability, security begets security. It's contagious. And so he's able to start playing more. And his idea is, hey, a crazy idea. Why don't you come see my world? Come see the restaurant, which is really an invitation into the authentic, seeing the chaos, seeing
seeing his internal landscape.
Togetherness.
Yeah.
He's not taking her to Noma. Is that the name of the restaurant?
Yeah.
That he worked at? Yeah.
Yeah, Copenhagen.
So not the perfect, best restaurant in the world. He's taken to the work in progress, the dream. So he's taking a big risk.
Yeah, he's I think symbolically inviting her into his own mind, soul, body. He is a work in progress.
Yeah.
He is being repaired.
So crazy idea.
Yeah.
Come and see me.
Yeah. And I think there's even it begins with him reaching out to Claire to see if she wants to join him on a mundane, routine, sort of mindless task of driving out to some sort of suburb to deliver a package, an envelope, which is this sort of him responding to his need to fulfill the attachment need of closeness, of bonding, of connecting.
Doing with.
Yeah. And we don't really see this, but in terms of the theory of attachment, he's asking someone to join him who's available, willing, and able, including at that moment. And that's what security of attachment helps enable, is for you to sort of, on some level, unconsciously perceive the available people, the willing people, the capable people. Whereas insecurity of attachment causes you to misread all of those kind of cues, all three, one.
Yeah, as unsafe as safe.
Unavailable is available. Incapable is capable.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what you meant here. So I'm going to let you riff on it. You mentioned the reflective dialogue about the child self.
Yeah. So
say more.
So, not all people, in terms of the data, the science, not all people who are securely attached show a very strong reflective capacity. But in general, most do. That what comes with security of attachment is one's capacity to reflect on your own life, to have a perspective of yourself across time, and to see that different self at different stages of time. So not uncommon for people who are dismissively attached is they're not going to have a lot of memories about their childhood.
Oh, right.
Their reflective capacity is diminished.
Yeah. Everything was fine.
Sure.
My parents went to all my games.
Give me some evidence. Tell me some stories of what happened. Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I never thought about that. I don't know. I don't think that happened.
Like, one of the questions we'll ask is, were you held?
That's right.
And there's usually, with a dismissive avoidant, there's usually a blank stare of, I don't know.
Sure. Or of course. And then tell me a time when you were, and there's nothing. And so in this episode, I see, particularly, it's Claire doing the inviting, but Carmi is responding, for sure, in reflecting on their lives in high school, their childhood selves. And they're reflecting on how they saw themselves, how they saw each other, and appreciating that it may not necessarily be objectively true, but certainly subjectively true. And
Right.
And so they're starting to develop an appreciation for each other's perspectives on their own selves and each other's selves, especially, I think, Claire to Carmi. But the point being.
But it is interesting how, I didn't think of that they're sharing with each other how they held each other in their mind.
Yes.
And neither's getting defensive.
That's what's so beautiful about it. And that's what makes it a beautifully securely attached kind of reflective dialogue. It's a dialogue. It's reflective. It's not defensive. It's not attacking. It's not demanding. It's not absolute.
Yeah, it's not demanding, like, no, see me this way.
Sure.
No, don't see me that way.
Or see yourself this way.
Right.
Or
that's what comes in my office all the time.
Well,
like,
sure.
that's what the fights are all about.
That's right. When we're in distress.
Don't see me that way.
That's right.
Don't hold me that way. I want to fix it, so I'm going to do this. Yeah, interesting. Sorry, I cut you off. Were you going to say something else there?
I don't know, but I can just continue in terms of that reflective dialogue, reflective functioning is such a capacity for not only reflecting on your own mind, but reflecting on another mind. And we have big academic words for that, but it's the ability that is involved in being able to attune to others. If you can't reflect on your own mind well, it's hard for you to reflect on another mind well.
Yeah.
Or
it
vice
gets
versa.
really complicated.
And you can have these moments where we might even have a shared experience, but we can't access it. We can't let the other person know that I understand you. I understand why you may be doing what you're doing. And because I can't quite reflect on my own experience, I'm being flooded by emotions, often fear, and therefore my reflective capacity is diminished. And folks classified in insecurity are often threatened by that which should not be that threatening, and they have a very sort of sensitive alarm threat signals, which then diminishes their capacity to think and reflect and have perspective taking. And reflective conversations or reflective dialogues are also how we repair. And that's where I wanted to get to.
Okay.
And so if we put it into the moon is full and it's right out there. It's so pretty.
I can't see it.
Anywho, anywhat's. So when you, in the context of, let's say, a parent-child, and you've had some sort of rupture where there's been some sort of conflict and people are missing each other and we're hurt, angry, mad, sad at each other, we can come back to that relationship and reflect on that set of experiences that went off the rails, went sideways. And we can reflect on what we were thinking in the moment, but now understand differently, and share or reflect how we wished then we would have seen or understood this and therefore responded differently. We can reflect on somebody else's experience of our behavior with a kind of understanding that wasn't there in the moment, where we're not changing the past.
Right.
What's done is done.
You can't.
You can't change the past. But this kind of understanding of the past changes who you are, changes each other, and is what is then reconnecting or repairing the ruptured connection or the ruptured bond or the rupture in the attachment system. That is, all ruptures are part of all relationships, secure or insecure. So there's no life, no world, no secure set of parent-child or couples that don't involve ruptures. That's a given, that's natural. The real difficulty is when we don't repair the rupture. And it's the reflective kind of conversations that occur that is what makes security secure. It's what keeps security secure and what can repair insecurity of attachment. But insecurity of attachment is characterized by a diminished capacity to reflect non-defensively, to reflect curiously, and to receive other people's reflections, not in a dominating way, but as a multiple reality kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where we get stuck. I agree with everything you said. I think in my mind, I got stuck when you talked about if repair is not available, how damaging that can be. And part of why it's so damaging is not just because we don't get clarity, but I think what I often see is the image, the story, the narrative in our mind gets stronger. The inaccurate, the inappropriate one.
Sure.
And it gets solidified.
Or the narrow one or single.
Rigid.
Yep.
It becomes more and more rigid. It had to be this way. It could be no other way. You had to see me this way. You really hated me. Whatever that may be. Something of that nature. And so that is the work. Is to it's not to get it perfect.
Nope.
But it's the attempt to be curious and open
and receptive
to the reflection that could be, the reflection of everyone involved, including yourself.
Yeah, when ruptures are not repaired, then we remain unresolved.
Right.
And when we remain unresolved, we have an uncanny knack of recreating the unresolved states.
Which, so I'm going to move this into, I think this is what one of the closing or the ending, closer to the end scenes is happening, is there's a repetitive rupture happening between Carmi and Sid.
Yeah.
And it's not being clarified.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much curiosity because there's pain in the moment, in real time.
Sure.
There's pain and distress, and so it's hard to see.
But it's also because they arrived to the present moment with a whole lifehood of pain as well.
Sure.
And it's the unresolved nature of the historical pain that makes it so difficult to really see the pain, the miscommunication or the misattunement or the misconnecting in the present moment. That then creates even more pain or more distress.
Yeah. Because in this moment, Carmi is making a lot of headway in one area of his life.
Yeah, that's right.
And in this other area with his
Yep.
partner, he keeps missing.
Yep.
And she keeps missing him.
Yep.
And she's not taking the risk herself to say, hey, no, I need you.
Mm-hmm.
She's becoming passive quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore this wound is starting to grow.
Yep.
And it's causing more and more tension.
Grow or remain as it always was
Yeah.
in its historical nature as well.
Yeah, I think he's really hitting up on, and we were talking briefly about this, like it's not everyone's responsibility
Oh, yeah.
to fix everyone's attachment or to attend to it necessarily even. But there's something about they have a unique relationship and he does keep missing her.
Mm-hmm.
And she is trying to be enough. She's struggling so hard to be enough and getting lost in it. And therefore making her own errors, and which is creating the passivity and the way she's trying to cope with it. But it's hard. I want to like kind of shake him and say look, see with your eyes. And he does see a little bit. He's like, what? Every time something happens, he's like, what? Like he's shocked. And it's like, no, stick with it a little bit longer. Be a little bit more curious in that moment, so that we can start some repair and clear it up.
Yeah, Carmi is clearly incapable of toggling and attending to the two domains of his life there. Yeah. And Carmi and Sidney are just bereft of a kind of skills, a kind of capacity to sober up, to wake up, to get back in sync. We've seen glimpses of that in season 1 and the previous episodes.
Oh yeah, I am not good, chef.
Yeah, that's right. And the whole rubbing of the
Heartburn.
chest, the heartburn. Are you okay? And the confrontation of each other, and we've seen glimmers of it, but it as insecurity of attachment is, it's been unable to be sustained, and where he may have been able to apply some of these skills and continue to grow in security in relationship with Sidney, he seems to be doing some beautiful and important work over in his romantic life, in his sort of maternal romantic life. But so it goes. Yeah.
All right. Hey, guess what?
Chicken butt. We were rather concise.
We were, and we get to move on to episode 6.
Yes, which you're so excited about.
Fishes. Oh my goodness. Buckle up. If you haven't watched it, go ahead, watch it now so you can be ready.
Yeah, sure. And, fair warning, it's a difficult episode.
Trigger alert.
Yep.
It's more intense and it's longer. The first time my wife and I
right.
watched it, we were just binging the show, and it was like 10:30 on a school night, right? And we're like, no, let's go and watch it. Had no idea.
Bad choice. Bad adult choice.
Oh my gosh, we had to turn on some like episodes of Friends and other things to just calm down before we
Yeah.
could go to bed that night.
Yeah. Well, more on that next episode.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks,
Till
Mark.
then, it's good hanging out with you.
Always. Bye.
Bye.